Hey, this is Wes with meyle, and today we're going to be doing a front end refresh on a B9. Let's get into it. The kit that we're installing today is one of our meyle HD kits, and for us, HD is high durability. One of the things that our engineers are upgrading on our control arms is the bushings. We're doing a lot of work on the bushings. They're redesigning them, and the rubber has been reformulated to our own formulation to help it last as long as possible. And then we're also adding a larger diameter ball stud to help the ball joint last a lot longer. The tools that you will need for this job include several different wrenches, 16, 18, and 21 millimeter, which if you have ratcheting ones makes it even more helpful. There are several sockets that you need, including a 5 millimeter Allen, a T25, 10 millimeter, 16 millimeter, 18 millimeter, 21, and a M12 triple square. You will need a hammer. An air hammer is critical for this job. It is very helpful. You'll need several extensions and wrenches. You'll also need a Phillips head screwdriver. For specialty tools, a torque wrench is a must-have. Also, another critical tool is the ball joint separator. We also used a knuckle separator. And from Schwaben, we had a couple of different tools that were really helpful. The first one was a stubby socket driver set, was absolutely huge help. And also we used a Schwaben specialty adapter tool for the air hammer to help get that top pinch bolt out. It was a lifesaver. Now, before we get the wheels off of this one, we want to measure the ride height. Now, this one is sitting on ECS coilovers, so it's a little bit lower than factory, but still we want to be able, at the end of it, to tighten up all of our suspension components at ride height, so that way we ensure maximum life out of our bushings. So I've got about 13.5 inches. Doesn't have to be perfect, we just want to get it pretty close. Now that we have the wheels off, what we're going to need to do next is take off these skid plates so that way we can gain access to these bolts in order to get these control arms off. So people at home, this is the ECS Street Shield, and it is really tough. This one's been scraped a few times. In order to get this lower rearward control arm off, first we're going to use a 21 millimeter socket to get this nut off of the ball joint. Then we're going to use a couple of 18 millimeter wrenches to take this bolt off. Oh no, all right. Now, in order to get this bolt out, I had to take this heat shield loose. I didn't have to take it all the way out. It's just 10 millimeter bolts and nuts holding it on. No automotive project would be complete without using a 10 millimeter. Here we go. Now, in order to get this ball joint from this control arm loose, you're gonna need one of these ball joint separators and a BFH. For this front lower control arm, first we're going to take off this bolt that holds the shock to the control arm. It's got an 18 millimeter on each side. And then we'll also take off this bolt and nut on the rear of this control arm. Now, before you take this control arm all the way off, this car doesn't have it, but some of them have a ride height sensor. Make sure you take it off and get it out of the way so it doesn't get damaged. Now, the bolt on the back of this control arm has a M12 triple square on the front side and an 18mm on the back. And actually for us, we are using this low profile M12 triple square. Now, in order to get this rear bolt out, one of the things we're going to have to do is take off our outer tie rod, which we have a new one anyway. We're going to be replacing it, so that will give us a little bit more room. There we go. Now, what we have to do in order to get this inner bolt out, we have to turn the rack and pinion all the way to the opposite lock, and that will get the inner tie rod out of the way enough for us to slide this bolt out. So once we get this bolt out, we'll also take the shock bolt out, and we will take the ball joint out. Now, for the ball joint, we have a knuckle spreader that we will put in here, and it will just slip right out. This ball joint needs to be pre-installed in this lower control arm. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and torque it down to 140 Newton meters. All right, so a good practice whenever you're installing ball joints is to clean up the interior surface from where it's about to sit. We're just using a red Scotch-Brite just to really quickly hit it, make sure there's no corrosion in there, dirt, anything like that. And then with this knuckle spreader still installed, we're gonna drop the ball joint right in. We're ready to install the rearward lower control arm. Now, the ball joint gets torqued to 140 Newton meters. On the other end, we can go ahead and install this bushing, but remember we checked the ride height earlier. That's because this bushing and the others need to get torqued down at ride height. So we'll go ahead and install it. We won't torque it down yet. Now, when I installed this tie rod, what I did was I counted the number of times that I had to rotate it to get it off. And so when I'm installing this new one, I just turned it the same amount of rotations. It's not perfect, but it'll get you close. Now we'll tighten up our nut and install this. Now, the reason I went ahead and installed this outer tie rod was that I needed to have it installed before I tightened up and torqued down this ball joint, this rear ball joint. Now, for this outer tie rod, the nut on it gets torqued down to 140 Newton meters also. On this upper pinch bolt, spray penetrant is going to be your friend and also heat. So what I've done on this one is I have loosened up this pinch bolt and I sprayed it very well with spray penetrant oil and have let it sit overnight. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some heat to it and see if we can work this bolt out. So your best bet for getting out this pinch bolt is by using this tool from Schwaben, which they do sell at ECS Tuning. And what you do is you put this over the end of the bolt, you use your air hammer in the opposite end, and it will line it up so that way you're not marring up this aluminum knuckle. And once you are able to work it in, you switch from using this just to the air hammer itself to push it out, and then after that you're just going to have to work it out by hand. Now, when you're working on this knuckle and adding heat, you don't want it glowing red. And also, I know you might be tempted to use a knuckle spreader like what we had used earlier on these slits, you don't want to do that. There's not really enough material there. According to Audi, if you were to spread that at all, it could compromise the back side of where that slit is, thus meaning you need to replace this whole knuckle. So not a good idea. Add heat, not until it's glowing, and then just keep working it. That's how you do it. All right, so on the other side, we were able to just hit it with a hammer and it popped out. Not so lucky on this side, but at least it's not too bad. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use a little socket in the end here, and we'll use our ball joint separator and just pop them out. Shouldn't take but a minute. There we go. There we go. Now that we have those upper control arms out of the spindle itself, now pretty easy. I'll just loosen up these bolts on both sides, and they are threaded into the body itself, so there's no nut on the other side that you have to take off, so not too bad. Now when you're installing these, there is a left side and right side, and there is a forward and rearward. So make sure you're matching them up when you're putting them back in. And I'm not going to torque these down quite yet, but I will maybe just hand tighten them enough where they will stay up while I get the spindle into place, and then I'll torque them to spec once I get the car back to ride height. So now we're gonna clean out this upper part of the spindle here. I used Scotch-Brite on the two ball joint holes. Now for this long hole for the pinch bolt, I'm just gonna use a drill bit. I'm gonna be very, very careful with it. You can also use just a very thin brush that you can fit down in there. The main thing is that we just want to get the corrosion out of there. Once we do this, we'll blow it out and just try to get it as clean as possible. Put on your safety squints, y'all. Now that we have the spindle all cleaned up, I'm gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on the ball joint studs themselves and also on the pinch bolt. That way, this stuff's gonna last a long time, and we don't want the hardware seized in there for whenever it has to be replaced in the future. So I'm gonna take care of this car. And torque down to 40 Newton meters. The last treatment that we're gonna give this car before we give it back to the owner is we're gonna replace these factory plastic sway bar end links with the meyle aluminum ones. And to remove these, it just takes two 12.16 millimeters. So it's a 12 point on one side, and you can use a regular 6 point or opened end on the other. All right. Installing these sway bar links is pretty easy. Just remember, the longer bolt goes on the top facing inward, the shorter one goes on the bottom facing outward. All right. So now we have our car at ride height, so we can begin torquing down all of the bushings. So there's 2 bushings on the bottom, 2 on the top, and then also don't forget about the bottom one for the shock, and also you're going to have 2 that are on the sway bar link. I went ahead and included those on there too because they have rubber bushings in them. Now at home, what you're going to do is you're just going to put your floor jack under the spindle and just jack it up until the suspension is loaded, and that way you can maximize the life out of your bushings. On both of the lower control arms, the inner bushings get torqued to 70 Newton meters plus 180 degrees. And that's 90. This bottom shock bolt, 90 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. For the stabilizer links, it's 40 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. On these upper control arms, the inner bushings are 50 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. Now that we have finished torquing down all the bushings, don't forget to reinstall anything that you may have taken apart along the way, like heat shields, skid plates, or anything like that. Also, the steering and suspension geometry may have changed, so it is absolutely critical to go get an alignment now that we are done with this job. A link to all the parts and specialty tools used will be in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more enthusiast content from ECS Tuning.